So today we're going to be going over how to fix a broken budget. Now this is for people who have a budget, who make a budget, a written plan, and then for whatever reason they're having trouble following it, or they keep changing things throughout the month. And so we're going to be going over how do you fix that, how do you stop doing that. The plan that you wrote down was unrealistic. You need to have something that is realistic to you, not just realistic in general, because sometimes there's things that you just can't follow that other people can follow. And so you need to be more realistic with yourself about what you can achieve and how motivated you really are. If you're not motivated to continue a process, then you'll just stop doing it altogether, and that is a lot of times the big problem with having a broken budget, is the fact that you just can't follow what you wrote down on paper. The way I would fix that kind of problem is I would look at my goals, I would see the items that I keep changing or I keep going over my budget in, and then those are the items I'm going to reevaluate. If you've been doing this for a while, you can reevaluate past months and look across the different months and see how much you budgeted for it and then how much you actually spent on it. Now, of course, you could always do the same thing looking back at it and go, you know what, I do spend too much in this category and I need to reduce cost, so I am just going to cut this out of my life. You can do that too, but you have to know it will cause a lot more stress to your life because it's hard to cut out things that you obviously are used to having, but it can be worth it if you're able to do it. And when you keep going over in a specific category and you can't cut it out of your life, that also means you need to lower categories in other areas, because you need to have the money to put towards that category if you're overspending in that category. So you may need to lower the categories for a couple of other areas. And looking over the last couple months, you might actually be able to find stuff that could easily be lowered and you would be totally fine with it. Quick interruption. If you are liking this video, be sure to hit like on it and subscribe for more content. And let's get back to the video. The other thing is you need to not be too hard on yourself. I mean, things do change. Sometimes emergencies happen. Sometimes, plans change. You think you're gonna go to this one event and then it gets canceled. And so I'll find myself about mid-month, like changing some numbers on some things, which is okay. So don't be hard on yourself if you have to change it mid-month. As long as you're still within the budget and you aren't going over the amount of money that you make, then it's not really broken. It's just you adjusting it halfway through the month. It's actually okay to change your budget. A lot of people are like, nope, I get my monthly budget before the month starts and then that's my budget and I have to stick to it. That's good to an extent, but then there's moments that stuff just changes and you need to be able to be flexible enough to change it and not see it as something that's broken. Now, the only reason I would qualify something as a broken budget is if you're not achieving the goals you set out to achieve. That's what I qualify as a broken budget, not changing it mid-month to readjust your goals and your plan to achieve your goals. We're readjusting based on our priorities, based on what that priority that month needs to be, whether that's a chiropractor visit, a doctor's visit, or if it's, hey, we were able to save more money this month, let's put it towards debt, let's put it towards saving, whatever that might be. Sometimes when your budget feels broken, the best thing you can do for yourself is to write down your goals. What are your goals? Because sometimes in the middle of budgeting, you lose sight of what your goals are. You forget what are you trying to accomplish with your money and where are you trying to put it to accomplish something. And sometimes you need a break. You just need to set aside a little bit of money for yourself, something that you do that you enjoy, or giving it away to some cause that you enjoy, a charity. The good thing about having a budget is basically you're telling your money where you want to spend it, and so that's the whole point of a budget. And if you've lost sight of your goals, then you're totally off track. Just looking back at them sometimes is all it takes for you to just get right back on track, get the motivation you need to stop breaking your budget. And sometimes, which this is one that I know nobody wants to hear, it's all about math, Sometimes you're just not doing the math correctly. Sometimes it's like, well, how much do you make? You may not be doing the math right. You may think you're making this much, but really you're making this much because taxes come out. And so that might also be a part of the reason why your budget is broken. Go back in your bank statements, figure out how much money actually comes into your bank, and establish that is what the level is. Not up here, down here. And make sure that you understand that. And sometimes, you know, another part is like you just need to make more money. You know, that kind of plays into that. Sometimes you do need to make more money. But yeah, you need to check your math on it though. You need to make sure how much you're making. And if you do need to make more money, then you need to work extra hours or go get a second job or whatever you can do to make that extra money. And sometimes you need to cut spending. Even if it's a little bit here and there, you need to cut it in order to get it so that your budget is matching what you're making. Because if your budget isn't matching what you're making, you're spending more than you make, well then that just means you're going into debt because you have to use a credit card to buy things. Just look back at the actual numbers, you write them down as you're looking at it, you add them up, use a calculator if you have to. It's a simple thing of addition and subtraction when it comes to budgets. You add up your income and then you add up your expenses, and then you basically take your income and you minus your expenses, and then that gives you your total, which should be 0 or close to 0. It should not be a negative number. That's when you know you're in trouble, is when it's a negative number. Leave me a comment down below and tell me why you think your budget is broken, and I'll be sure to address that in the future videos. And be sure to hit subscribe and like on this video so that you can see more content just like this.